Hey everyone! Any good witch should have his or her assortment of ingredients for magical spells and potions. And it just so happens that these kind of things make great decor for Halloween. Today I'll be showing you a few different ways that you can decorate some bottles to make them look like special witchy ingredients. Let's get started. You'll need an assortment of bottles, sandpaper, paint, labels. I made 5 different ones: unicorn horn, crystallized snake venom, eye of newt, dragon's blood, and mandrake root, and I'll be providing a PDF with those labels for you guys, and I'll leave a link to it down below. Various items to fill the bottles. Some examples I used were glitter, flour, oil, beads, etc. I'll get more in depth once I get to that part of the video. Hot glue, spray adhesive, twine, beads, and wax. Gather an assortment of bottles. In my opinion, it looks better when they're a bunch of different shapes and sizes. I bought some of these and they came with corks, and then I had some that I had saved for some reason, and those had lids. To get a distressed look, roughen up the glass with some sandpaper. I wanted some of the bottles to look newer, so I sanded them a lot lighter. Water down some craft paint and paint it all over. Let it dry a minute or so, then wipe off the excess. Repeat this until it's as distressed as you want. Again, since I wanted some to look newer, I only did this once on those. Now fill your bottles with stuff. For the ground unicorn horn, I mixed together flour, pearlescent powder, and glitter. For the crystallized snake venom, I mixed rock salt with a little bit of green paint. For the dragon's blood, I mixed a little bit of oil with some red and purple oil paint. For the eye of newt, I used some oil tinted with a little bit of pink oil paint, and then filled that with beads. And for the mandrake root, I sculpted it out of Sculpey and put it in the bottle on a bed of sphagnum moss. To make the mandrake root, make a core of aluminum foil in a long teardrop shape, and then cover it with a light-colored Sculpey and shape that into a root-like shape, adding more roots to make the legs and arms. I used a few references of different root vegetables like carrots and parsnips to help me get the wrinkles and texture right. And don't forget the face. Make a hole in the top and then bake it according to the clay's instructions. Once baked, use a wash of brown to detail it. Just paint it on, wipe it off, and the extra paint will be stuck in the wrinkles. Remove the leaves off of the fake flower and hot glue that into the hole on the head, and your mandrake root is complete. After you fill a bottle up, seal it by hot gluing the cork in, or the lid on. You'll probably notice here that I painted the lids on these bottles, but I didn't really like how it ended up looking, so I decided that I would try to make them look as if they were wax sealed, and I'll be showing you how to do that later in this video. Once all the bottles are sealed, it's time to add the labels. I'm providing the labels that I made for these bottles. They should all be around 3 to 4 inches tall, so you'll have to size them according to your bottle shape. Obviously, you can see here that I had to do this for the dragon's blood. Cut around the label and then coat the back with spray adhesive, and then stick it on the bottle. Make sure it's stuck on there good, and then go over it lightly around the edges with sandpaper to make it look a bit distressed. And then go over them with a light wash of brown paint. I had to do the crystallized snake venom a little bit differently because the bottle was a sphere. I glued the label onto cardstock and then cut that out, and then I cut a hole at the top and distressed it. And then tied it onto the bottle with twine. Again, for me, since I wanted some to look more used than others, I distressed them accordingly. The dragon's blood almost looks brand new, while the eye of newt looks like it's been used many times. They look pretty good already, but now it's time to add the little finishing touches to make them look awesome. Wrap some twine around the neck of the bottles and tie a knot. And then add a few beads. I also used smaller blue yarn for some of these. For the Eye of Newt, I tied this twine on temporarily, and you'll see why soon. For the 2 bottles that have lids, I decided that I wanted to make them look as though they had been wax sealed. You can actually buy wax made for sealing bottles, but I was only making this for decoration and not for actual use, so I figured candle wax would work. Luckily, I still had some wax left over for a project that I made for Thanksgiving last year, so I used that. The only bad thing was that it was white. You normally see sealing wax in a deep red color, and that's what I wanted, but I didn't have any crayons to color it, so I decided to try using pastels. I crushed up some red and a little bit of brown and threw that into a microwavable bowl along with some wax and then melted it in the microwave. I cooked it in 30-second intervals, stirring between until it was completely melted, and the pastels seemed to have worked. Anyway, melt your wax and then dip the top of your bottle in, covering the whole lid. You'll see here that my wax ended up looking really weird and lumpy, and this is because I didn't do a great job of crushing the pastel, and I had big chunks at the bottom and ended up picking them up on this lid. Whoops. Thankfully, this is the bottle that's supposed to look really used, so I just ran with it. I think it actually looks pretty neat, and it adds to this bottle's character. Again, since I wanted this one to look used, I had to make the seal look broken, which is where the temporary twine comes in. When the wax was solidified, I pulled the twine away, making it look like the seal was broken. Now for the next bottle. If your wax is too solid, just pop it in the microwave again to liquefy, and repeat this bottle sealing until you're done. I did one more bottle, the Dragon's Blood. I wanted this bottle to look the newest, so I tried my hardest to not let it pick up any of the lumpy pastel. I also wanted to decorate it with a wax stamp. I just made a quick stamp with polymer clay. To do the same, sketch out a small design onto paper with a pencil. The simpler the better. I went with a really detailed design and it wasn't as legible as I would have wanted. Anyway, take some light colored polymer clay and shape it into a log. Flatten it on one side and then press it into the design. It should transfer into the polymer clay. Then you can use a toothpick or a needle or something small to carve out your design. Bake it according to the clay's instructions. Once that's ready to go, pour a small amount of wax onto a Ziploc bag or aluminum foil and immediately press your stamp into the wax. Don't press down all the way to the plastic because you'll still want it to be thick enough to peel off. Keep it there until the wax solidifies and then remove the stamp. Carefully peel the wax away. Wrap some twine or yarn around the neck of the bottle and down the side. Put a dot of hot glue on the string and place the wax stamp on top. I wouldn't suggest pouring the wax straight onto the bottle and then attempting to do the stamp that way. That's what I tried to do initially, and the wax just ran down the bottle and onto my hand, and it was not nice. So yeah. And now you're done. I love how these things turned out. They were so fun to make. I tried to make each label unique looking, so they look like they were made from different companies or something. I think that just adds a little something extra. I hope you all enjoyed this week's video. If you did, please leave a like. If you want to see more, then feel free to subscribe. I post speed painting videos every Tuesday and DIY videos every Thursday. You can follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, or Pinterest, and I'll leave the information to those down below. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, please leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next week.